last night, 9 Eastern time, the Senate voted 60-40 to reopen the government. Now, 60 is the threshold of votes the Senate needs to advance a bill to the floor. You've got to have 60 votes because that overrides a filibuster. And President Trump wanted to blow up the filibuster. That would be a disaster, not only for the Republican Party, but for the country. Because if you had a lower threshold majority, then you could change laws every 2 years. You wouldn't have any laws. They'd need to be changing and changing and changing and changing and changing. And that's not what the Founding Fathers wanted. They wanted stability. All right. So now the bill goes to the House, and it will be voted upon tomorrow afternoon. And it will pass. There are enough votes. In the vote last night, the only Republican who defected was Rand Paul. Now, I know Dr. Paul, and I don't want to say bad things about him, but this guy is not helping the country right now. And it's not anything to do with Republican or this or that. I respect the fact that he's an independent thinker, but he's an obstructionist now. He doesn't want to spend any money on anything, and he knows that's not the way this system is going to work. So he doesn't support his own party, and that causes all kinds of havoc. So they just reached the 60 vote threshold because 8 Democrats, to their credit, said, we've had enough of this shutdown. And they were Fetterman, Angus King, Maine, Catherine Cortez Masto, Nevada, Jackie Rosen, Nevada, Dick Durbin, Illinois, Jean Shaheen, New Hampshire, Maggie Hassan, New Hampshire, and Tim Kaine, Virginia. I was surprised by Kaine. He's a kind of a radical leftist now. So they said, no, we're not going to have it. We'll join the Republicans, and that got passed. All right, we all have what happened. 41 days to do that. Okay, the longest running governor shutdown in history. Now, the whole thing, as I said, was contrived. And it goes back to last March when the Democrats did open the government because of Chuck Schumer. And we went over this last night. And if you are a concierge member, you can get a free transcript of every word I say. I'm not going to repeat the reporting tonight, but I'm going to tell you that the goal of the Democrats was to increase spending on Obamacare. That was the goal for this shutdown. And they said the Republicans would shut it down until you increase the spending. And the Republicans said no. Now, Schumer got hell in March from his own party and saw Ocasio-Cortez, the radical leftist congresswoman from New York, start to raise money to run against Schumer the next time around, which I think is 4 years. And Schumer got nervous. But Schumer is through. He's finished. All right, this is his last go around. Now, we looked at this very hard, and I'm going to just simplify it. There was a law signed by President Obama to help Americans who cannot afford health insurance get it. And that is called Obamacare. That is worthy. There are some people, for no fault of their own, who don't have any money, and they got to have health insurance. Now, in order to give them that, or make it very low health payments, other Americans have to buy into the government insurance. You have to have money to give away health insurance. There was a spending level on it for the federal government subsidies. There's a spending level. Once COVID hit, that spending level went whoop, way up because people weren't working, couldn't buy it. But after the COVID stopped, the Obamacare spending was supposed to go back down to the original point in 2010 when it was passed. Democrats said, no, we want to keep the higher spending that was mandated under COVID. The Republicans said, no, we have a $38 trillion debt. We can't spend any more. Now, the Democrats knew the Republicans were going to say that because it would be like a Republican saying to the Democrats, we're going to shut down the government unless you back abortion being illegal. The Democrat Party's never going to do that. It's the same thing. So Schumer knew the Republicans were going to say, we're not going to increase the spending. We'll talk about a new threshold in negotiations, but we're not giving you a permanent bump up in healthcare spending. We're not. And that is what shut it all down. Does everybody understand it? I hope so. I can't make it any simpler than that. American homeowners, the FBI has been warning all of us about a type of real estate fraud called title theft. The target, your equity. With just a forged signature, ownership can be transferred out of your name, and without protection in place, you are facing an emotional and financial nightmare. That's why I partner up with Home Title Lock. You can find out today if you are already a victim and protect yourself. Use promo code BILL at HomeTitleLock.com to get a free title history report plus a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring, urgent alerts, and if you are a victim of fraud, they will spend up to $1 million to fix it. Don't be a victim. Protect your equity today. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code BILL, or use the link below. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code BILL. Now, after the election of last week, where the Democrats did well, a segment of the Democratic senators said, okay, we won. We got our people elected. So we don't want to continue this because millions of people are being hurt. And that's to their credit, those 8 senators I mentioned. The other senators on the Democratic side don't care how many people get hurt, led by Uncle Bernie Sanders. Go.
Look, I think it was a terrible, terrible vote. At a time when we have a broken healthcare system, this is going to make our healthcare system even worse. And that vote last night paves the way for 15 million people to be thrown off Medicaid.
I'm not telling the truth. Nobody's thrown off Medicaid. The rules changed. If you are an adult who can work, you must look for work or volunteer in order to get Medicaid. Is that unreasonable? No, it's not. There are medical exceptions. There are mental health exceptions. There are every exception. But if you can work and you're getting free health care from your state through Medicaid, you got to look for work. Sanders never mentions that. He has lost all of my respect. He is a charlatan. He's a communist, hardcore radical. Dangerous. Now, why don't Americans understand what I'm just telling you? Because they don't get accurate information. We have millions of people who watch and listen to me. But there are 343 million people in this country. Okay? And most of them don't listen to me because they don't care or they can't, whatever. I don't know. But they don't know what's happening. All they hear is the media, 80% supporting the Democrats, never tell you the truth, okay? This is what they hear. Roll the tape.
Democrats, you sold out the entire shutdown not to get what you wanted, but for a promise to not get what you wanted later. Where in the art of war? Hold on. Where in the art of, okay, here it is. I got it. Sun Tzu said, never press your advantage. It's unseemly. Fighting's hard. How about a snack?
No surprise, the vast majority of Democrats do not want this. None of those 8 Senate Democrats are up for re-election next year, and 2 have announced they are retiring from the Senate. What a disappointing way to end your career. Reminds me of when Journey released their last single, We Stopped Believin'.
All right, so this is the drumbeat in America. The late nights, the Saturday Night Lives, the straight press on television, on and on and on, never explaining what the real subject is. So the people who don't know much, all right, they absorb this, and you hear them in the crowd. Yeah. What are you yaying for? If you come on and I interview you, I can guarantee 100% you won't know anything. Okay. Now, it worked for the Democrats. NBC News poll, a very simple poll, 1,000 registered voters. Who do you think is more to blame for the government shutdown? Democrats, 42%, Republicans, 52%. Okay? It worked. It worked. Because most people do not pay attention. They don't know what's happening. And they're besieged on television news by Donald Trump's latest statement about whatever it may be. That's all they hear. And that's the memo.